Hello, welcome to Beth Roars, where we look at your favourite singers to find out what makes them them. Before we start, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. My handle is @BethRoars and I hold loads of votes on my Instagram, so you guys can vote on who I react to. Also, please do check out my website, bethroars.com, where you can book a singing lesson from me. And last but not least, please do head over to my Patreon, which is patreon.com/BethRoars, where you can get some more exclusive content, you can get early access to my podcast, and you can find out a little bit more about my scholarship fund. I find this singer really interesting because she's developed a really unique and quite heavy vocal style. And if you listen to her earlier work, so when she's younger, she didn't sing in this kind of unique way, so it's been really interesting to watch her development as a singer. And I am going to talk a little bit about her vocal health, what's happened recently with her singing, although this video was a little while ago, and I want to talk about what these unique quirks may or may not have done for her vocal health. So this is interesting because it's French, I think. Oh no, it's not. It's in Spanish. Okay, so these things that make her sound like her, it's that heaviness at the bottom of her tone and then flips up in this kind of yodeling way into her head voice, which is instead of she doesn't place that top note, she flips up to it. This heaviness is something that is so distinctive in her voice, where she's got this sort of feeling in her voice. And recently she has had some vocal health issues in that there has been an injury to the small blood vessels in her vocal cords, and it was meant to be horrible and very traumatic for her. And this heavy tone, and I'm only saying this because I've got a friend of mine who this has happened to. She sings with quite a heavy tone and had been pushing down her larynx, and this caused a lot of pressure, which in turn gave her nodules. This may have been putting a little bit too much pressure on the vocal folds. It may be just that she sings a lot. I've got a little quote here from Dr. Zettel, who worked with Shakira and Adele and a lot of these big singers who have issues, and he says injuries such as Shakira's are very common in professional singers because of the constant and specific use they make of their voices, and that the larynx hemorrhages occur when blood vessels become deformed. He also explains that these often don't heal properly because people are singing on them, because they have massive tour schedules and things like that. And he also says that these injuries can happen for those who force or abuse their voices or shout a lot, so it can happen for people like call center workers or school teachers. Now, I don't think Shakira had been abusing her voice as much as she could in this very, very demanding setting. However, I think it'd be really interesting to find out if her style of singing had contributed to these issues. You hear that? That's a creak or vocal fry. Beautiful. And she uses the consonants very well. Cada herida, cada ser conoce bien cada guerra de la vida y del amor también. Her use of Arabic scales are really interesting. So she has a lot of Arabic influences in her music and her dancing with her hips don't lie sort of moves. And it's so interesting that she's using things like harmonic minor scales rather than pentatonic scales, but then she's also using things like vocal fry, which are very stereotypically pop techniques. Oh, that's quite a folky scale at the end there as well. Interesting use of scales. Ah, here's the French. See these? That's those yodels. The same as Alanis Morissette, actually. And she's singing quite light here, actually. Her accent is nice. It's good. I love these yodels go so well with Spanish, and it's so interesting to hear it with French because you just don't normally hear that, but it sounds really, really cool. As she's shaping her accent really well in that it isn't so because sometimes the French accent can make it quite difficult to sing. I actually teach a couple of French students, and there's a lot of adjusting you have to do in the vowels just to make it easier. However, she's keeping nice open vowels while getting that accent. It's really nice. And she's keeping it lighter in her French. So she has such control over that weight that she carries in her voice. So what also defines Shakira's style is that I mentioned the scales earlier, but she is capable of really, really complex phrases and riffs and runs, or if you're being a bit fancy, melisma, and she uses these different scales. So like minor harmonic scales, pentatonic, blues scales, the usual ones that you find in pop. However, it's these kind of Arabic sounding ones that really give her her style. And she's a really emotional singer as well. This is something you always get with Latin singers, and I love it. She's got quite a fast vibrato as well. Really fast. I love Shakira's unique tone. I love how she has this little toolbox of really unique nuances that make her sound just like her. You recognize her voice instantly, and a kind of mix of cultural styles as well, which is really, really cool. However, I would be interested to see if that style, those vocal nuances, that heavy sound did contribute to the vocal issues that she had later on in her career. I don't know, but I would like to know. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Bye.